Hey everyone, Joanne from Art Resin here. Speaking of resining, next we're going to need to figure out how much resin we'll need. So how big is this painting? Okay.
So this is 36 by 36, so we'll have to go to your website to figure that out.
Yep, so that's artresin.com/calculator. And if you go there and enter the length and width of your piece, so in this case it's 36 by 36, the calculator will let you know how much resin you need and even which. It's going to be 3,000 mil, like 3 liters, which is about 100 ounces. So that's quite a large amount of resin. So I'm looking forward to hearing your any tips you have for mixing up large amounts like that.
Something this large, I've got a drill with a mixer on it, so I use that. It's just much easier, faster. So we'll pour it in and we'll mix it up.
Okay.
Show you how it goes.
Sounds good. All right, so we are ready to pour our piece, but before we do, we need to make sure that it's level, right?
Sure, yeah. So normally I'll just level the piece just to make sure that it's close, you know, because if not, you'll get some like uneven spots in the resin. So make sure it's close and you should be good to go.
Perfect, especially with the texture and stuff, you want to make sure it's completely level.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So
you ready to go?
I am, are you?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
So because you use that drill to mix up your resin, it incorporated quite a bit of air, so we have some sort of cloudiness, right? But that's gonna come out with the torch.
Yeah, I'll use my my torch and all those bubbles will come out. You'll see them just kind of disappear.
Perfect.
So I try to be a little bit more careful with the texture side of things, just so you don't accidentally scrape anything off.
So a piece this size, it's manageable to do for one person, but do you find sometimes like working with a larger piece or maybe in the summertime when the heat can prompt the resin to cure faster, do you ever need an extra pair of hands to help you apply the resin?
Yeah, sometimes on the really large pieces, sometimes you need an extra pair of hands in the summer just because the temperature will change the way the resin dries. It acts a little faster. But usually it's manageable for me to do it. So now I'll go around and finish the sides.
You can use a foam brush to apply to the sides, but I think the way Greg's doing it with a gloved hand really is the best way, right?
It's just, I find it's easier and it really helps even out the resin, I find.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts.
And for a large piece like this, like nothing beats a propane torch, right?
Yeah, no, the bigger torch helps for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is incredible, like all the detail in the piece, like the resin just makes it
Yeah, it really
come to
brings
life.
them out.
Yeah. And have you always worked in acrylics?
Yeah, this is all acrylic and acrylic ink, lots of mixed media kind of textures and different mediums, and then we finish it off with the art resin.
So Greg, what's the next step now?
Next step is to look around and see if there's any dust or hair or anything that you can kind of see through the light, like obtruding through the resin, to pick it out so that you have a nice, like, even finish.
Yeah, looking in the light really, really helps. So Greg, I noticed that you torched a couple of times. Is that typical for like a larger piece?
Yeah, something this size, I'll continually go around 10, 20, 30 minutes at a time, just kind of continually looking after the bubbles, getting rid of as much dust and particles that I can get out of it to make it as clean as possible.
Perfect. And then at what point are you ready to cover it and leave it and let it cure?
So, I'll get it as best I can until I think it's, pretty much perfect. And then I've got a big box over there that is the size of my table that I'll just cover it with.
And Greg said that he actually custom ordered, or you ordered that box, right?
Yeah, I ordered from Uline and just to the exact size of my table and then just pop it on.
Yeah, that is an amazing tip. Well, I think this looks fantastic. I mean, it was gorgeous before, but the resin has just amplified it like in so many different ways. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, I love how it just brings out the depth and the blending in my paintings. Like it softens the skyline, I find. I love the way it looks.
Yeah. One thing I meant to mention is that you use wood panels, right, for your paintings?
Yeah, and that's, again, for the reason of using resin. If you use canvas, it's going to sag with the resin sinking to the center. When you use the wood panels, you don't have that problem. It's just nice and flat and smooth. Right,
epoxy resin is heavy, so the wood really does have the weight to sustain it.
Yeah, especially this big.
Yes, yeah, and you'll get a nice even coat. So this looks absolutely flawless pour, and I'm so excited to see it all cured and up on the wall.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to have you guys back when it's all done, and I'll be babysitting it for the next hour or so.
That's great. Well, we'll be back in a few days to see the finished piece.
Awesome.
So it's been a few days and we're back to reveal the final piece, and it looks beautiful. Greg, what do you think?
I love it. I'm super happy how it all came together. Looks great.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And while we were gone, you took the tape off, right?
Yeah, I take the tape off within 24 hours just because if you don't, it's harder to get off.
Yeah. And your work is absolutely gorgeous to start with, but the resin, it just amplifies it. The color, the metallic shimmer, the texture, the horizon, it just gives it so much depth.
Yeah, I really love the finish and how it brings out the colors, and it just adds another kind of dimension to the work. And if you want to, you can always sand the piece and then add another layer of the resin, just if you want to level out some of the texture. But I actually like how it looks just with the one coat.
Yeah, I agree with you. The texture just gives it so much visual interest, and really it just makes me want to reach out and touch it. So thank you so much, Greg, for having us to the studio. We loved being here. I loved learning from you and getting all of your tips and techniques for resining large pieces of art.
I appreciate you guys coming and taking the time to come to the studio.
No problem. And if you have any questions for Greg, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.